What's going on, everybody? Proud to announce the Spotlight Sports Network are partnered with SeatGeek. Save $20 off your first order for live events, concerts, and sporting events, and more. All you have to do is just insert the promo code Spotlight Sports Network to save today. Again, that's Spotlight Sports Network and save $20.
What's up? How y'all feeling?
Yo, 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 what is up? What is up? It is me, it's Key. And we're back with another morning show, Coffee and Sports Morning Show. We got my guy Brett, and we got the NFL genius in the building. We got my guy Gene Walzak. What's going on, y'all? What's going on?
What's popping? What's popping? How you feeling, Brett?
I'm feeling good. Sorry, my camera randomly cut out just before the show started. I'm not sure what's going on with it.
That's all right. Nobody wants to see you anyway.
You know what? That's valid.
This is just how it is. We see. Hopefully, y'all morning is going pretty good. I mean, it is Wednesday, middle of the week. Is the week's almost over. The week is almost over, and we are into week 6 of the NFL, week 7 in the college world. I mean, we was just saying when is NFL going to start? When is NFL going to start? We almost halfway through the season, man. Um, but yeah, some good things, some bad things, some ugly things. But let's go ahead and get into the nitty gritty of things here. So, number one on the agenda, we all know that the Cincinnati Bengals starting off at 2-3. So who's really to blame here for that Bengals rocky start? Is it the offense? Is it the defense? Or is it Zach Taylor?
I mean, I think it has to be Zach Taylor. So let's take it a step further, right? The offense is the issue, and I think the offense being the issue with I don't know if anybody has seen this, but there's a viral video going around that they're tipping plays, whether it's going to be off a run or a pass, by the way that Joe Mixon is standing in the backfield. If a defense knows that you're tipping plays and knows that, that, and if the internet can catch this, like I feel like the coaching staff needs to catch this also. But not just that. Like, let's take it a step further. The offense as a whole has not moved the ball. Jamar Chase has not had the type of start that he had last year. And they don't look very revered. Justin Tucker hit that walk-off field goal versus them, but I mean that was a very low-scoring game. Was it 20-19? Or so? It's clearly the offense. The defense slowed down the Ravens, and I think that the answer would be Zach Taylor, who is control of the offense. I never thought Zach was a great coach, but he got a lot of credit last year with them going to the Super Bowl. I think a lot of that has to do with the Bengals offense, with Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, and they put all that money into the offensive line, but there's no cohesion there. So they've basically, Lyle Collins has looked like a turnstile this year when he was an all-world tackle last year. So I think it has a lot to do with the with Zach Taylor and the game plan.
Right, what do you think about this off? Who's to blame here for this Bengals debacle right now?
Yeah, I agree. It's a lot of it to me comes from Zach Taylor and the game planning and the offensive line. To me, it all starts from the top. But like Chris said in the comments too, Zach can't be the only one to blame, and Gene pointed this out too. He kind of hit on all the points very well. That it's just kind of a mix of everybody. But yeah, the offensive line to me is a real killer, but it all starts at the top. So yeah, it's also a big thing of it is the coaching and the game planning.
I'm gonna definitely have to agree. It has to deal with Zach Taylor because there's no way you don't give Joe Mixon a ball. He's the reason why the Bengals got to the Super Bowl and as far as they did it off that running game. And why do you go? Why do you run away from Joe Mixon? As like Chris said, in the Super Bowl hangover is a real thing too. Happens every year. I definitely agree that that hangover. And like you said earlier, y'all spend all this money on this offensive line to upgrade it. Where has it been? Where has it been? I mean, lately Joe Burrow hasn't been getting sacked an awful lot, but those first two games was rocky. 13 sacks in the first two games. Where's this line at that they so often beefed up? And now teams are starting to get Jamar Chase now because now all of a sudden Chase can't get open now. So
I feel
it,
like Burrow's got happy feet right now, Key. Like I feel like that he's throwing the ball, not allowing like he's protecting himself, which I'm sure the franchise wants. But like I feel like that a lot of times he's throwing the ball, it's from a clean pocket, and he's throwing off his back foot and not planning and moving forward. But once again, I feel like a lot of that has to do with the fact that a lot of their plays. So, did you see the video that I'm talking about, Key, Brett, any either one of you guys,
I have
Yeah,
not
where
I
seen
actually
it.
there's
shared it in the chat.
like apparently Joe Mixon's tipping the plays, like
What?
It's funny because there's a viral video earlier too that Matt Rule and the Panthers were doing the same thing. If they were going to run, Christian McCaffrey was lining up a yard
a
behind the
yard back.
quarterback.
Hmm.
But if they were going to pass, he was like directly next to him.
I
Oh yeah, you know what? You're right. I did see the Panthers one on ESPN. Dan Orlovsky pointed that out. He was like, whenever McCaffrey's on one side of Baker Mayfield, you know what they're gonna do. Okay, yeah, okay, yeah. I did see that one. I didn't see the Bengals one though. But
The Bengals one has to do with the way Joe Mixon is standing. If he's standing straight up, he's receiving the ball. If he has his hands on his knees, like where he's like in a ready position, they're passing the ball. That's been illustrated through a lot of different videos. 25 out of 28 passing attempts with Joe Mixon on the field were predicted.
oh, and Higgins injured. Oh, Higgins is hurt.
Yeah,
Yeah,
T. Higgins got hurt last game.
Oh no. So it's just him and Tyler Boyd.
I,
Interesting.
I feel zero sadness for him. You have Jamar Chase, you have Tyler Boyd, you have Hayden Hurst, former first round draft pick. You have Joe Mixon. They have plenty of weapons. If T. Higgins is hurt, that's not. I feel like teams have done more with less.
yeah. I like the point you made earlier, Gene, with Joe Burrow getting happy feet. I feel like that's not what a lot of people think about when you are getting sacked a lot. Because then a lot of the times, even from clean pockets, it seems like the quarterback's really like nervous, like, oh, there's a rush behind me. I just got to get rid of this quick, even if the pocket's clean. So I really like that point you made there.
Thank you. Appreciate you.
Let me see who Cincinnati is playing this week.
New
Um,
Orleans at New Orleans,
I mean
which that pass
that could
rush
be
is
an
real
interesting
too.
game, right?
That pass rush is real too. That New Orleans pass rush, man, they get after the quarterback. Geno Smith made a few hella good plays this
Mm-hmm.
past week. One got called back, was one of the nicest plays of the whole day. Got called back due to a hold, but man, he made a throw across his body downfield to DK Metcalf for a touchdown that got called back. That was just vintage West Virginia Geno Smith. Like, looked good.
I know they have the Saints, the Falcons, the Browns again, the Panthers, the Steelers, Titans. I mean, these teams definitely can be beat, but you also got to execute your game plan, and that's for Joe Mixon to run the ball.
That's part of the game plan. Joe Mixon's got to run the ball, but in order to run the ball, you can't run the ball against 8-man boxes. In
Right.
order to not have an 8-man box, you have to be able to take the top off the defense. And this year, Jamar Chase to Joe Burrow has just not been
Nope.
what it was last year. I think it can turn around. I don't think it's beyond repair. I think 2-3 tells you that it's very salvageable, but they're not where they were last year.
Sure enough, wasn't because that connection was just all the way crazy with them. Birds, all you heard, Burrow to chase, and now defenses are looking at Jamar Chase and they're figuring him out. He can't get no separation. He's getting jammed, and then that puts Burrow in a bind because he's like, "Oh snap, where I'm gonna go through now?" That's why you seeing Hurst and Boyd and these other guys that he had to get involved. As of right now, Jamar Chase has only 2 touchdowns. Two.
Yeah. His yardage is down too. What is his yards right now? I bet you it's below
32,
500.
32 catches, 343.
Yeah, 343. So he's averaging about 75 yards a game.
That's crazy because compared his numbers, what it was last year at this time was through the roof. So definitely some things have changed down there in Cincinnati. Hopefully they can get things together and then they can turn their, they can turn it around. They still got a chance to win that North Division, but I still think that might go to Baltimore um, to win.
That's an interesting division. When we walked into the season, we were like, what team is bad? You
Hmm.
had Deshaun Watson going to Cleveland. He hasn't played yet. Um, you, Pittsburgh, the whole thing with they haven't had a losing season in the Mike Tomlin era.
Hmm.
The Baltimore Ravens were the favorites going into the division, even though the Bengals were just in the Super Bowl. You had four teams that were viable competitors for the division, and I feel like that the Steelers are done, and the Browns are, you know, they're blowing games left and right at home. The Ravens have blow two 17-point fourth quarter leads, and then you got the Bengals sitting at 2-3. So I think the Ravens and the Browns are tied at top of the division at 3-2. But man, it's anybody's division. Actually, the Browns are 2-3.
Yeah.
They're 2-3. They lost their last. But the Ravens are top division at 3-2, and they've blown two 17-point leads. So it's anybody's division.
Most definitely is. That we'll see how interesting that division gets to that division used to be elite. We all know Pittsburgh's debacles was going on right there with them. That's another story for another day. We're gonna switch it over to the AFC East side. Who would you rather have at QB right now for the New England Patriots? You gonna go with Mac Jones, or would you keep the rookie Bailey Zappi in?
Yeah, Brett.
Right now, I would keep honestly right now I'd rather keep Bailey Zappi in and see what he's got. To me, Mac Jones, he got off to a rough start. First 3 games, he had 2 touchdowns to 5 interceptions, had like 750 passing yards. He was having trouble taking care of the ball. I know he was the higher draft pick. I know when he comes back that he's getting back in the game. But I've been impressed so far with Bailey Zappi, and I would definitely love to see more of him. So my answer, I would love to see Bailey Zappi, but I know probably as soon as Mac's healthy, they're putting him back in anyway.
I mean, the answer is Mac Jones. You took Mac Jones last year with the 15th overall pick. He led you to a playoff game which we lost. But uh, at the end of the day, Mac Jones has not. You don't lose your job due to injury. And Bailey Zappi, if you look at the game plans that were called, are very, very run dependent game plans. I actually think that this helps Bill Belichick so much is because he can play clock control, defense, run the ball. Bailey Zappi doesn't look ultra impressive. The reason he looks ultra impressive is because he's a rookie and not many people expect much. Not many people remember how much of a hilltopper he was at Western Kentucky. But hey, the answer is Mac Jones. Like let's be clear about this. The Patriots are built on running the football and defense, and they're a mess, man. They are an absolute mess. But you have to not give up on your first round draft pick last year that took you to the playoffs just 4 games into the season. You can't do that.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I definitely, like I said, I'd like to see more of him just to see what he's really got because I know it is early. He's only played 2 games. Not a lot of teams have seen a lot of him, so they're not really, I guess, necessarily ready for him. So I definitely love to see more of him. But yeah, the answer is indeed Mac Jones.
I wouldn't rush Mac Jones back, but this past game they won 29-0, and it allows like Patriots fans or other people to look in and be like, "Whoa, Bailey Zappi." I just want to read this to you. He had a QBR of 24.6 in that game. He had 188 yards with 1 touchdown and 1 interception. This isn't lighting the world on fire numbers. It's not like he's banging down the door to take the job. That's not what's happening here. The Patriots ran the ball 35 times for 176 yards in that game, and their defense turn Jared Goff over multiple times. Good morning, Coach Dante. How you feeling, buddy?
Hey, good morning, my boy. Good morning, my boy. Y'all. Good morning, Brett. How you doing, Gene? How you doing, Key
Uh,
man? Sorry I'm late, man, but y'all know I'll be working in the office all night long, so I don't really get sleep like that. So my bad. I'm overslept a little bit, but I'm here, so I'm here. I'm in the middle.
we were talking about Bailey Zapp and Mac Jones, and like
Mm-hmm.
who should start for New England moving forward. Do you think they should pass the reins to Bailey Zappi, or do you think it should remain Mac Jones? I think the main consensus that I came up with, in my opinion, is you don't rush Mac Jones back. You make sure he's fully healthy, but when he's healthy, it's Mac Jones' job.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
I mean, it's never in your intentions when someone is hurt is to try to rush them back. It shouldn't be never in your intentions. I believe you all like I think Dak Prescott, when he comes back healthy, I believe the Dallas Cowboys is going to put him back in the lineup, even if Cooper Rush is undefeated. I believe they're going to put him back in the lineup. That's just how it's going to be. Even though a lot of people say Cooper Rush is still sticking out, but we all know Dallas, when Dak Prescott is healthy, he's going to come back in that starting lineup. Same thing with Matt Jones. I don't think his job is in danger, but I do think Bailey Zappi got a lot of potential, like we said at Western Kentucky in college. How he went over there and set records. The only record that was probably in front of him was Joe Burrow, the national championship season that he had. But hey, he's doing a good job. He's not doing a bad job. He's doing a good job holding the fort down. Yes, he's going to throw some. He's going to have a couple of lapses and turnovers, but I think he's doing a good job. But Matt Jones is no danger of losing his job. If he's healthy, he's getting back in there. He's getting back in there. If he's healthy.
Completely
All
agree,
right.
man.
No QB controversy in Foxborough. But no, of course, that's what the backup job is, to hold down the fort until your starter either comes back, or he's unfortunately he gets injured and he can't. But that's what the role as a backup is, to be the backup until and hold down everything until the starter eventually does come back. So moving on here, and we still got some good things to talk about this morning. And so, are the Raiders better than their 1-4 record? Who wants to go first?
Oh, I go first. All the record, the talent is better than the 1-4 record. But like I say, you are what you are. I mean, you just are what you are. You're 1-4. You're 1-4. You're 1-4 football team. That's what you are. The talent is better than the 1-4 record. But that's just what the Raiders are. They're 1-4. Right now, this is not a good football team. It's not a good football team. What's supposed to happen? I thought this defense was supposed to be good with Chandler Jones and Max Crosby. Now, Max Crosby did have a hell of a game against the Chiefs. So did Chandler Jones. But this secondary is just not good. I thought the secondary, Nate Hobbs and Merrick, I thought they were very good. They're not very. This defense is not very good. Now the offense, they're coming along strong. They still got some lapses on the offensive side. Josh Jacobs is running the ball completely fine. Devontae Adams didn't get a lot of targets, but the targets he did get, he made them count. He did made them count. Hunter Withrow did not get too much involved. Darren Waller, he just checked out. He just checked out on the Las Vegas Raiders. I said he checked out during a playoff game. But this team is not very good. Their talent is better than 1-4, but you are who you are. And they're a 1-4 team, and this is not a really good football team right now.
Coach, I couldn't agree with you more. I think that you are what your record says you are. I hate when teams make that claim. I remember Philadelphia Eagles used to do that years ago. Like, we're better than our record. We're better than our. No, you are your record. You're
Mhm.
exactly what your record says you are. I think that the biggest mistake that the Raiders made was letting Rich Bisaccio get out the building. Josh McDaniels is an absolute clown. He's been a clown his entire career. He went to he was in Denver. He got fired for there. He went back to New England to be an offensive coordinator in a very stale offense, and he got a job. The only time that offense looked really good was under Tom Brady, who's the greatest quarterback of all time. Let's stop pretending that Josh McDaniels was a good hire when he wasn't. Rich Bisaccio had that team play inspired football. They all followed him. They were the team wanted him back, and it's very obvious. The offense looks a little bit less um, less desirable this year than they did last year. They're still good. You have Devontae Adams, Hunter Renfrow, Darren Waller, Josh Jacobs, Derek Carr. You got all the talent in the world. Yes, coach said it perfectly. The talent is better than a 1-4 team, but they're a 1-4 football team. Max Crosby has played out of his damn mind this year. Could it be in running for defensive player of the year? But the defense still looks bad, so it doesn't matter. The defense is ranked 24th in the league. Um, so it doesn't matter how well Max Crosby's playing if they're not playing well as a unit. And just to call spade a spade, they are the Raiders are just not a very good football team. Could they get it together? Of course they can. I don't believe in the leader. I don't believe in the guy that's leading the troops. I would have loved Rich Bisaccio to got the head coaching job and removed the interim. He did an amazing job last year with all the turmoil that they dealt with last year with Gruden and with Ruggs. Man.
Brett, what you think?
Yeah, no, I definitely agree with that. I think a big problem too with the defense is you're paying Chandler Jones $14.5 million or something like that, and he's giving you 7 solo tackles, no sacks, no forced fumble. You can't be paying a guy $14.5 million for that little of impact. But yeah, no, so it feels like Max Crosby almost has to be a one-man show because nobody's stepping up across from him. But yeah, at the end of the day, I can't disagree with either Gene or Dante with that one. The talent is definitely better on paper than what it was, but they're just not executing, and they're 1-4 because of it.
And guess I got one more thing to say. See, I agree with Gene 1,000% because I remember in doing the draft process, I told that damn Eric at SC Experience, my boy, aka, I told him they should consider keeping Rich Bisaccia because the team was playing great up under him and the players respected him. And each and every single damn day, he wrote a note to all them players how much he cared about those players. And they played, went out there, and they busted their ass for him, and they respected him. That's the type of head coach I want in my locker room. If the players respect you, and will play for you. Why not consider keeping them a part of this team? And the players were playing really good for him, and they ran through a brick wall for him. So Gene brought up an interesting point that I brought up to Eric during the draft process, and a lot of Raiders fans said, "Hell no!" Just because that happens, that don't mean he should be a head coach. Now, hey, it's biting them in the ass at this point. But like I say, your record are who you are. The team is talented. They're just not a good football team. That's just all it is right now.
And Pasasha did, he did go back to special teams. I forget what team he went to, but they did. I ain't gonna lie, they did play harder for him after that whole Gruden debacle happened, and I mean, they went to the playoffs off it.
Everyone forgets the last few games of the season. They
Yeah.
won at Indy. They beat the Chargers on the last week of the season. And
Mhm.
listen, I'll say this,
They beat
and
the
I'll say it
Browns.
clearly. I think the Raiders took the best shot in the AFC at Cincinnati. That was a fourth and goal situation where the Raiders could have tied the game, and they didn't. It was a very, very close game for Cincinnati. Cincinnati went and then beat up on Tennessee and then beat Kansas City. I think that they played Cincinnati just as hard as Kansas City and Tennessee did. So at the end of the day, that Raiders team looked really good last year under Rich Bisaccio.
What's going on, AJ?
Hey, how are you doing? How everybody going on?
What's popping?
All right, so now we were just talking about the Raiders. Are they better than that 1-4 record?
Yeah, I think so. I think they're definitely better than that 1-4 record, but they come up against some very strong teams, especially one this past Monday night. Um, I think the talent is there. I think the defense is there. I think the coaching is there. I like Justin Jones as a coach. I just think they've come up against some buzzsaws on the teams. Maybe not the Titans because at the time both were 0-2, but the Titans have now won 3 straight, I believe. Um, so I just think they've come up against a tough part of their schedule. But I wouldn't be surprised if they turn things around. But at 1-4, it's very, very hard to do.
All right. So we all talk about the Dallas Cowboys, and we know how elite this defense can be, and it's Eagles week. It's Dallas week. Eagles versus Dallas Sunday night. Dallas fans. Oh, we gonna knock off the Eagles. We gonna be the first team to beat up. Oh, y'all didn't play nobody. I hate that narrative too. But is this Dallas defense elite enough to win a championship?
Yes, I think it is. The way they're playing right now, I think it totally is. Um, no, I watch like a lot of the shows on ESPN, and they're always talking about how like this defense is one of the best. I mean, they haven't allowed more than 20 points this season, which is insane to think about in this offensive era. Michael Parsons is just balling out. A lot of people think he's an MVP candidate. I would think so himself. I don't think he's gonna win it though because it usually goes to quarterback. But I think he's truly up there. I think he probably have to get like 30 sacks, something like that, to actually win it. But this defense is very good. I think that they have a great test coming up with the Eagles, and I think if they can shut down the Eagles' offense and win that game, I would have to say that the Cowboys would have to be the leading candidate, to go win the NFC and represent the NFC in the Super Bowl.
Who wants to go next?
Brad, coach.
What was the question?
Is this Dallas defense elite enough to win a championship?
Is this Dallas defense good enough to win a championship? I believe this Dallas defense is good enough to win a championship. I just don't believe their offense is good enough. I believe the defense is good enough. I believe they can stop people on defense. I just don't believe the offense is good enough. Offense is struggling without Cooper Cup. They was even struggling with Dak in the lineup as well. So I believe the defense is good enough to keep them in a lot of games and win a Super Bowl. But do I believe they will? I don't think so, and I don't think they would get that far because I don't think they can score that much on the offense on the offensive side of the ball. I believe the offensive ball is going to stop them from and hamper them against better teams. I think that's going to hamper them from getting what they're supposed to get. But I don't think they're going to get that far. But I think their defense is legit. But I just don't trust in the offense that much.
Yeah, if we're talking about the defense, I do agree with that. This defense is definitely a championship caliber defense. There really hasn't been much to nitpick and complain about this defense. The major questions do reside on the offensive side of the ball, but yeah, to answer the question, yeah, this is easily a championship caliber defense.
I think that the big difference of what you're saying is the key. I'm going to ask you the question again. So, are you asking if this defense is good enough to win a championship with this team, or
Yes.
are they a championship style defense?
No, just the defense. Can this defense win the Dallas Cowboys a Super Bowl? Talking about this season.
So, I mean, this defense is elite. The Cowboys defense is elite. They are a top three defense in the NFL right now. There's no doubt about it in my mind. Coach said it perfectly. The offense is an elite, and I think that at the end of the day, when you really look at this Dallas Cowboys team, can that offense be elite? They can. So I think there's an opportunity for the Dallas Cowboys to. I hate saying this as an Eagles fan, but the defense is good enough to win a Super Bowl. Dan Quinn is an incredible defensive coordinator, and he's proven that in Seattle with the Legion of Boom, and he's proven it again in Dallas. He's an elite defensive coordinator. If the offense gets it together, they can win a Super Bowl. The defense is good enough to carry them to a playoff spot. The defense is good enough to carry them to the show, but you have to be able to move the ball offensively. And right now, they're not moving the ball at an offensive level that's a Super Bowl. So, like, they could get to the Super Bowl with that defense, but when you go up against a Mahomes or an Allen, you have to be able to score with them. And the AFC representative will be one of those two teams. And at the end of the day, that defense will not be by itself be able to knock out Mahomes or Allen. So I guess the answer would be longly said no, but it can definitely get them there.
So you all know their defense is pretty good. It's no slouch there. I still think Diggs is overrated, but that's just me. um,
Diggs is overrated.
that's just my opinion. I think he's overrated,
You
but
ain't, you ain't the only one thought that. I thought that I said that last year.
So I mean, but we'll definitely see what's going to happen Sunday. We all can reinvent this, but I have to do agree. Offensively, even with Dak in the game, offensively, we I don't think they can put up the performance offensively to get to the Super Bowl. Especially like y'all said, the teams in the AFC, the Bills, the Chiefs. Can they get past teams like that? They definitely can't. They definitely can't sling the ball and have a shootout with Patrick Mahomes or Josh Allen uh, to win no type of game offensively. Defensively, yes. So, but yeah, I'm agreeing with y'all there. Offensively, I don't think they got the firepower.
I'll
So
make it even clearer. I think the Eagles kicked the shit out of them this week. And
I hope so.
I'm not even trying to be like any type. I'm an Eagles fan, and I know that might come off as homerish, but if you ever follow me or listen to Wire, you know I'm as critical on my team as possible. I'm very critical on the team, but with that said, I think the Eagles kill them this week. I think the Dallas Cowboys start Cooper Rush this week in Philadelphia, and Philadelphia's defense abuses him, and that they use that as the reason to go back to Dak Prescott next week.
You know what, Gene? The only reason I picked the Cowboys because I want to see Key in the Cowboys hat. I want that's the only reason I went for the
I
Cowboys.
mean, they
I want
betted
to
me
see Key
last
this
night,
week,
man.
next week
Oh my
in the hat.
god.
That's the only reason I went again. I picked the Cowboys, even though I'm pretty much sure I can see that ass kicking happening. I can see it happening definitely, but I do want to see Key in the Cowboys hat. That's all I wanted to see.
So they betted me last night.
Sleeping Angels called me a homer. I would advise you to watch Wire to Wire if you think I'm a homer. I've been more critical on the Eagles, the Phillies, and the 76ers than anybody in the Philadelphia area. I call it unbiased, and I tell you right now, if I predicted the Lions to beat the Eagles week one, which I was wrong, and I'm perfectly fine with being wrong. But that's kind of the way I see things. But the truth is, I, the way I break down this matchup, I think it's the easiest matchup on the board this week. Dallas is coming off a game where they beat the defending world champions in Los Angeles, has to travel across the country, Philadelphia, and play us on prime time. Not, not the game. Not the game. I think Philadelphia runs them.
Yeah, the bet was if we lose, I have to wear a Dallas hat.
You
On
ain't
top
got
of it,
you ain't got to worry about that.
If Michael Parsons sacks uh Jalen Hurts twice, I have to get the Michael Parsons embroidery on my hat. So that means I gotta go to Lids and put Michael Parsons' name on there and wear the hat. And then I'm telling Dallas fans now, anybody who wants that hat, hit me up if y'all beat us. But I don't think y'all. I just got that gut feeling. I don't think we are.
What do you get when you win? When you win,
Nothing. I get to not wear that color. Only it can't because how it came up was I told everybody I said if my son ever gets drafted to the Dallas Cowboys, I can't wear his jersey. I can't. I can't. I'm sorry. I can't put on those colors. Regardless or not. I can't do it. Me being an Eagles fan and that blood, that green runs through my veins, I cannot put on them dollars. I can't put on that star. I can't do it.
You
So
can root for your son without rooting for the team he plays for.
there you go. And I'm not putting on them colors. So
I feel the same way if I had a son and he was drafted by the Packers. That's not gonna happen.
so Homer, you think Rush is gonna take out the Birds? Just heard the record when we are the Bird gang only undefeated team, respect the top dogs. Just reading some of the comments here. Appreciate you, Chris, for being in the chats every day. My son will blow that interview and make be like be like, do not answer all the wrong answers for Jerry Jones or whoever's going to be in that block or whoever's going to be interviewing. But yeah, so that's how that whole bet came off because everybody knows I can't do it. I can't. I can't put the color on. I can't put that star on. I can no. I love the and it's crazy because Prime Time is my favorite player. But I will buy the San Fran jersey before I do the Cowboys jersey of
buy the
Deontay.
Atlanta jersey, bro.
Oh
Buy the
yeah, the
Falcons
Atlanta joint.
jersey.
Yep. I
That
will get
Falcon
any other
Prime,
one.
that
Shoot,
black
I'll
Falcon
even get the
Prime jersey.
Baltimore one. But yeah, so that's how y'all know that Dallas is hatred over here in my house. So, but all right. Who's the best team in AFC? You gonna go with the Chiefs or you gonna go with the Bills?
Oof.
Right
Are you asking me to project who the best team is going to be or who's the best team right now?
now.
Right now, it's the Chiefs. I think the Bills win the Super Bowl, though. So I guess that's like if I give you a tenfold answer, I think the Bills get better as the season goes on, as they get a lot of their injured players back. But right now, it's the Chiefs. Patrick Mahomes is on an FU tour right now. That's what he's on. He's on a tour right now, letting everybody understand. Oh, you said Justin Herbert, Russell Wilson, Derek Carr was going to win this division. You said I wasn't the best quarterback in this division. Oh, you sleeping on the Chiefs aren't going to win the division? Patrick Mahomes is on that tour right now, letting people know what time it is. So Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs are the best team right now, but I think the Bills win the Super Bowl. I think the Bills become the best team. And I think Josh Allen's just got a different presence in him. December, January, thrown in cold weather. The guy's got a cannon for an arm. And I think that team is a tough out, especially with that defensive line. That defensive line on Buffalo is absurd, man. To think about what they have, Gregory Rousseau, Ed Oliver, Von Miller, that's a star-studded defensive line.
Um, like I say, it's really no wrong answer to this question on this one because they're both very fucking good. I'm gonna right now. I'm gonna agree with Gene. I'm gonna take the Kansas City Chiefs. The way they came back from adversity and beat the Las Vegas Raiders, and when you look at both teams, like you said, that defensive line is good. Before Michael Hyde went out, or Jordan, one of them, Michael Hyde went out, you had the best safety tandem last in the league. You had probably the best safety tandem. You got Career Elam, who's doing good, the rookie out of Florida over there, who's doing very good. When Tre'Davious White get back up to speed, just think about how good that secondary is going to be. With that defensive line, just think about how good that whole damn defense is going to be. Is going to be. And Josh Allen is just, I mean, ain't not too much more to say about him. Gabriel was amazing. He's kind of turning into an amazing slot receiving. Dawson Knox is really good. We all know about Stephon Diggs. I ain't got to elaborate upon him. But the way they kicked the shit up out of Pittsburgh, and let's get it, they're a million times better than Pittsburgh. They're a million times better. Pittsburgh didn't have a fighting chance in that game. That is scary. Like they can win the Super Bowl, but I think, like Gene said, they're the best. The Chiefs are the best team right now. And Patrick Mahomes is giving Tyreek Hill a big FU finger. I don't need you. I don't need you to be successful. You didn't make me good. You didn't make me good. But let's be honest, they're both doing great. They're both doing great in their situations. But Patrick Mahomes is still that goddamn dude. He just reminded everybody, hey, I'm still that damn quarterback. I'm still that damn quarterback and still can lead my team to the possibility of the promised land. I'm taking the Kansas City Chiefs.
Yeah, I'm not betting against Patrick Mahomes either. I think the Chiefs are the best team in the NFL right now. But yeah, like you guys said, that Buffalo team is so legit because not only do they have the defense, they have the offense to back it up too. So on paper, in the long run, I think the Bills will. I think the Bills will make it farther if I had to guess. But right now, Patrick Mahomes is really hot, coming off the comeback against the Raiders. So yeah, give me the Chiefs right now.
I'm gonna go Buffalo. I think Buffalo's the best team. I think Josh Allen has been just incredible. I know you talked about Patrick Mahomes going on the FU tour. I think Josh Allen is going on a tour of his own, saying, "This is my time. This is my time to show that I'm the best quarterback in this league." You can like Patrick Mahomes, you can like Lamar Jackson, you can like Rodgers and Brady and all of those, but the best one is Josh Allen. I think he's going to start to prove that. I think, the way he is at 6'5" and 250 and his rocket for an arm. And I think also, as I think one of the shows, one of the broadcast crews showed earlier this year, that not only is he making plays like with his arm and just pure arm talent, but also now he's using his brain, and he's seeing the coverages a whole lot better, and he's taking what he can get. And sure, he's throwing 60-yard passes to Gabriel Davis for 98 yards and everything like that, but he's playing just on another level. And I think he's better than Brady, better than Rodgers, better than Mahomes. And I just see I I was so shocked at this past weekend with the Steelers because even though the Steelers are a lesser team than the Bills, I didn't expect that from a Mike Tomlin coach team. The spread was 14, and I said, well, the Bills are going to win, but they'll win by 8, 9, 10 points because a Mike Tomlin team isn't going to let the Bills do what they did. But I was wrong, and I think that proved to me no other doubt that I should not count out Josh Allen, should not count out these Buffalo Bills, and I
That
should
game
think
got out of
less.
hand real easy, real quick though, AJ. That game got out of hand real quick. If you
Yes,
remember
real
the way
quick.
that game started, there was a fumble on the opening kickoff. Buffalo scored a touchdown, and then they have a first and 10 at the 1 yard line, and Josh Allen throws a 99-yard pass to Gabe Davis. Um, that game got out of hand quickly, and the Bills have proven to be very good front runners. To argue against you a little bit, do you know that the Buffalo Bills have only won one possession games in the last 2 years?
You've
They're
only
good
won
front runners. Two in the last 2 years.
two one possession games.
Yes, every game that's a one possession game, they're 2-9 in the last 2 years. So, like, I'll take it a step further, right? The Buffalo Bills are great at front running, but when the pressure's on, who do you trust to make that throw? Do you trust Josh Allen or Patrick Mahomes? And right now, it's Patrick Mahomes. If you want to make an argument that Josh Allen has surpassed Patrick Mahomes, I think you're way ahead of your time. But I do believe that one time in his career, Josh Allen will be the MVP of the league and will eventually be a top one or two quarterback. But it's not right now. It's not right now. I think that they win the Super Bowl this year on the merit of what Coach Dante said. That defense is just light years better than the Kansas City Chiefs defense. Like completely healthy, that secondary is top three in NFL. Completely healthy, that defensive line is top two in the NFL. You cannot like the linebacking crew is no slouches either. That defense, the best defense in football. And when you add that with Josh Allen being a top 3 or 4 quarterback in the NFL, that's why you have a Super Bowl team. But as of right now, I think the Chiefs are the better team right now.
All right. I mean, it's definitely either everybody's points is great. Definitely can go either way. Um, Chiefs, but that's going to be a great matchup again this week. That should be a primetime game. Forget the afternoon. Um, who misses the other more? Is it Aaron Rodgers or Devontae Adams?
This is so easy. I've seen this question, and it's the easiest question by far on the entire board. The answer very very clearly is Aaron Rodgers. I don't care that Devontae Adams is on a 1-4 team. That man got $30 million to be on that 1-4 team. That team, the, the Green Bay Packers with Devontae Adams, have been to the playoffs multiple times, have lost multiple home playoff games. They've only won one Super Bowl in the Aaron Rodgers era. The answer very very clearly is Aaron Rodgers. That Packers team looks bad, and Aaron Rodgers, I said it before the season started. Everyone called me an idiot. Freddie Facts had this whole thing where he was going nuts about me not having Aaron Rodgers as a top 10 quarterback this year. I'm telling you, weapons matter. And Aaron Rodgers looks bad this year, and it's not his fault. It's his weapons, but in the same regard, it is so easily. Devontae Adams just balled out on Monday Night Football. Devontae Adams is putting up his numbers. Devontae Adams is making $30 million this year. It's definitely not Devontae Adams. The answer is Aaron Rodgers, and it's clear as day.
Yeah, I'd have to agree with Aaron Rodgers on that one. Not only are the weapons new, he just doesn't have chemistry with any of them outside of like Randall Cobb and like Robert Tunyon and Aaron Jones. But yeah,
And Alan Lazard, I don't want to hear that excuse.
yeah,
He's
Lazard.
he's had those guys for 3 years.
No, that's very. I still like him. I still think he'll end up being a top 10 quarterback. I think that he'll pick it up at some point when he starts actually trusting him. I think one of Aaron Rodgers' biggest issues is once a guy makes a mistake, he kind of freezes them out, like he doesn't trust them for a while. But yeah, no, the answer here is Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, it's Aaron Rodgers. There's no doubt about it because he needs a go-to guy. And I'm sorry, your go-to guy can't be Randall Cobb. It needs to be somebody else. It needs to be someone who is, you know, can that can go up and make a play, can get a pass that's maybe a little bit off target, and he doesn't have that. Um, I think that with Christian Watson and Romeo Dobbs, as they are stepping into Devontae Adams' shoes, it got off to a slow start. I mentioned this a couple of days ago. Instead of not playing in the preseason, he should have been playing in the preseason, trying to get chemistry with those guys, trying to get chemistry, with anybody else that they had. Along with his chemistry that he has with Randall Cobb and Alan Lazard and Robert Tunyon. But again, he didn't. He doesn't want to do that. So, they're starting off slow, and they may catch on by the end of the year and maybe have some chemistry there. But right now, it's just not working. He misses Devontae Adams without question. Like Gene said, Devontae Adams is making all that money, and he's playing with his best friend from college. And yes, the team may be 1-4, but again, like we said earlier, they can turn it around, be a surprise team, turn it around. I don't think it's going to happen, but they can do that. And he's got other things happen. He's living in Vegas, not living in Green Bay. That's also there as well. So yeah, Aaron Rodgers misses Devontae Adams without question. Um, I think that there is a question or not whether or not Devontae Adams was getting tired of the won't I will I retire stuff from Aaron Rodgers, and that's why he had to leave. I don't know if that's true or not, but my thing is just that if they I do think that Aaron Rodgers going that back and forth did turn off Devontae Adams and says, well, I'm not going to do this each and every year. I got to try to get my money as soon as I can. So he got his money in Las Vegas.
Coach, I know you always preaching the record without Devontae Adams or Aaron Rodgers. Who missed who more?
The more and more I look, at both of these guys when they're on the field. I look at Devontae Adams' frustration, but I also look at Aaron Rodgers' side of things. I bring the record up because Aaron Rodgers is still winning games. But like he lost this past weekend, but he's still winning. He's still winning football games. When I look at Devontae Adams' frustration and him, like he did have a great Monday outside of the Monday night game. Frustrated by he wasn't getting the ball more. He was frustrated up until he even got so frustrated last night, the other night, that he pushed the media man down a little bit, the cameraman down. He was so frustrated he wasn't giving the ball. Derek Carr was forcing him the ball a lot, something I don't believe Aaron Rodgers was doing in Green Bay. Like I said, he was getting doubled a lot in Green Bay. Now this in Oakland, he's not getting doubled. He's not getting he wasn't getting doubled a lot in Oakland. He got doubled a lot in Kansas City because Darren Waller kind of went out. Hollins wasn't ready to play at that moment of the game. Hunter Winthrop wasn't doing nothing, so he got doubled a lot. It was the only ones that was in single coverage was the one-on-one coverage. That was the play action fades when the Raiders caught the Chiefs off guard. That was the only time he wasn't doubling. He was running right by the defender. But the more and more I look at both of these guys' facial reaction, I kind of look at Aaron Rodgers a little more, even though he is winning. I look at his a little bit more, and you can tell he needs another wide receiver. Randall Cobb is not the best wide receiver on that team, but he was the best wide receiver in the London game on that team. He was the best wide receiver that day on that team. So I think Aaron Rodgers is more and more frustrated because he needs a number one wide receiver. Randall Cobb will show up here and there. Christian Watson ain't it right now. He's not it right now. Devontae Adams is still productive, but it's in a losing moment. But Aaron Rodgers is still winning games. It's still winning football games. But that's part of the reason why I kind of got it through. But if you, in reality, you look at it, it's Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers kind of needs a number one receiver. He kind of needs Devontae Adams. niece, Devontae. But I still think he's going to make the playoffs. I still think he's going to make playoffs.
You know the biggest deal that a lot of people oversee and just forget all the time? Tom Brady versus Aaron Rodgers, right? And like we talk about that argument, that's generational quarterbacks. Aaron Rodgers to me is clearly more talented than Tom Brady. I don't think it's close. I think that Aaron Rodgers' skill set is way above Tom Brady's. Here's the difference. Tom Brady takes $25 million a year to make sure the team around him is a lot better. Aaron
Mm-hmm.
Rodgers took $50 million. That $25 million could be going into a number one wide receiver and then some. I don't want to hear. I don't feel bad for Aaron Rodgers at all. He put himself in this scenario with the diva mentality. Everything's got to be about him. Everything's got to be about him making $50 million on his contract so the team can't improve. Yeah, I don't want to hear it. Devontae Adams is definitely in a better situation right now.
I'll say for sure there's definitely no excuses for Rodgers. I do think a big key in the passing game to get that going is I do think Romeo Doubs needs to see more targets. In the two games against Tampa Bay and New England, he was targeted 16 times and caught 13 of those balls for 120 yards and 2 touchdowns. So I do think that we can't be throwing Randall Cobb the ball 13 times like we did against the Giants, that we need to find a way to get Dobbs more involved.
Good point, Brett.
Right. So, AJ, did you go? I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, I went. I
Okay.
went.
Who's your top 5 tight ends right now?
So somebody
I'll
go
go
first.
first.
Yeah, you go. I'll be right back.
Yeah, top 5 tight ends. I would say that Kelsey's 1, Kittle is 2, Andrews is 3, Waller would be 4. You know, he right now he's hurt, and boy, it's hard to come up with a 5th one. Is it? Maybe Dallas Goddard. I don't know. Let me see. Let me try to go really quickly through all of the teams and the tight ends and who are on your team. Maybe Tyler Higbee could be up there from the Rams. Um, but I think the top 4 are easily Kelsey, Kittle, Andrews, and Waller. Yeah, so I think between Tyler Higbee, Dallas Goddard, I think that's probably maybe Noah Fant. So yeah, I think it's between one of those guys.
So I'm going to go Travis Kelsey, George Kittle, Mark Andrews. I'm going to go Dallas Goddard and Kyle Pitts. I'm not putting Darren Waller in my top 4. I don't think he's a top 4 tight end anymore. I don't view him in that value anymore. The way he fell off with the then injury concerns, which is I don't know if they be injury concerns or just check out issues, but I can't put Darren Waller in my top 4 anymore. I don't think he's a top 4 tight end anymore.
So, Key, can I ask you a question real quick?
Yeah, go ahead.
Key,
Yes.
are you asking me my top 5 tight ends if I was starting a franchise, or are you asking me my top 5 tight ends based on their circumstances and situations that they're in right now?
Correct. Right now, just your top 5 tight ends right now, because it was a debate in a group chat.
I don't know how y'all have George Kittle number 2 then. Y'all not watching the San Francisco 49ers this year. George Kittle has been literally non-existent on that offense. If I was starting a team,
I said the same thing. That's what I had the conversation.
But he has been non-existent this year.
Yep,
the answer is Travis Kelsey, Mark Andrews, Dallas Goddard at 3.
Thank you. I said the exact same order. They was like, "Oh, you just gonna forget about Kittle? He's been Kittle hasn't been doing anything."
And like I want to put Kittle in my top 5 because I know how much he brings to the table, but it's Kelsey, Andrews, Goddard, and then I would follow that up with No Yak, Zach. And I know that sounds wild, but he's been balling out in Arizona. And I guess I'll put Kittle 5. I would love to put Hayden Hurst there, though. I really like that Dante just put Hayden Hurst there. Hayden Hurst is bro. So somebody guys projected Hayden Hurst to be a top 10 tight end this year before the season started. I thought him landing in Cincinnati was a perfect fit. And if we're talking about going forward, yeah, let me go Hayden Hurst 5. I'll put Kittle outside my top 5. And I'm not none against George Kittle. If I'm starting a franchise tomorrow, I take him third behind Kelsey and Andrews. But
Mm-hmm.
this year and that situation, those circumstances, man, they're making him a blocking tight end. That's what they're making him. Kyle Shanahan is constantly he's in that off fullback role to where they're running counters and stretches behind Kittle's blocking, which is great. But he's not an offensive lineman. He's one of the best, most elite pass catching tight ends in the last 5 years. So I got Goddard 3.
Yeah, I was going to mention that too with Kittle. I definitely wouldn't. If he's in the top five, he's number five, but they've been having to use him more of a blocker with injuries to the offensive line. It is what it is. But yeah, for my top three was Kelsey, Andrews, and Goddard. Kittle, I still want to put him at five because of his blocking that is valuable to that defense. I mean, defense, sorry, valuable to that offense. My bad. So, you know, I don't mind sneaking him in the top five, or he's still in the top 10 either way. But if I had to pick two others, I think TJ Hawkinson has looked impressive on Detroit this year. Zach Ertz has looked very good too. So I'll go with Hawkinson and Ertz.
Yeah, Hawkins. I mean, Zach Ertz has 28 receptions this year. Like, can we forget that? It's 5 games into the season. He has 28 receptions. That's averaging a little bit less than 6 receptions a game. Zach Ertz has been a security blanket for Kyler Murray. And if you take it a step further, you watch that Philadelphia Eagles game, Kyler Murray misses him all the time. That was the most easy pass for an NFL quarterback to make. Zach Ertz was wide open on the flag route in the fourth quarter, and Kyler just missed him. And, you can even see Kyler's expression. Oh, that's on me.
Yeah,
That's
he was
on
like,
me.
my bad, right? But I have to get out of here. Unfortunately, I got a work meeting to go to. But Dante got all the stuff. He's gonna hold it down and
I
close
got
up the
you.
stuff.
I got us. I got us. I got us. So, all right, that's a good topic. And the next topic we're gonna go with, man. Are the Browns running out of time to turn things around? Turn things around. We'll start with Brett at the bottom.
No. I think they still have plenty of time, especially since they're 2-3. Ravens are at top at 3-2. So the quick answer is no. That division is still up for grabs. I think it's going to be tough for them as long as Jacoby Brissett is under center. I don't think they'll make really any noise in the playoffs, but I do think they can turn it around and still win that division.
AJ.
As I look at the Browns, the next 3 games are going to be, probably what makes or break their season. They got the Patriots coming up this Sunday. Sunday, October 23rd, they're at the Ravens, and then Monday night, Halloween, they are home to the Bengals. If you can get 2 of those 3 games, you are still in it because Deshaun Watson he's eligible to come back to the training facility this week, I believe. I saw that going across the screen. So he's going to be in the studio. He's going to be watching film with everybody and things like that, maybe getting to know them. And then in a couple of weeks, he'll be able to practice with them. So if you can get the next 2 out of 3 games, if you're the Browns, you should be right in it so that when Deshaun Watson does come back, you can have a chance to make a run. But if you go 1-2 or even terribly 0-3, I don't think you have a shot anymore. You should beat the Patriots, even though the Patriots just showed you what they can do to the Lions. My God, 29-0. Bill Belichick is still, working his magic out there in New England. But I think you should be able to beat the Patriots. And then you have to steal one between the Ravens and the Bengals. And that's the way it's got to be. Jacoby Brissett can't be doing what he's been doing, just throwing the ball up for grabs, it seems like. He's got to play more within himself. They got 2 great running backs. Just continue to run the ball. Continue to run the ball. I, I know, nobody likes to say it because it's 1980s and 1970s offense. Run the ball on first down and run the ball on second down, and if it's less than third and three, you run the ball again. But you're trying to stay in this divisional race, until Deshaun Watson gets back. I don't see an issue with that, especially with Jacoby Brissett's turnover issues as of late. But yeah, take the next two out of three, and you still have a chance, at least in my opinion. Gene seems to disagree with me.
I know that reaction. I know that reaction by Gene. I'm already looking at that reaction. The head turn. This. Go ahead, Gene. Go ahead and get it off.
The Browns have already destroyed their chances of being a successful team or a playoff team. They blew a 17 or a 13-point lead with a minute 30 to the Jets. They blew a lead at Atlanta down the
Atlanta.
stretch. They
They
blew a
just
lead
pulled me
versus
last
the
week.
Chargers. Brandon Staley tried giving that game away, one of the worst coaches in football. And then you look at their next games, right? If they beat New England, if they lose to New England, which is a coin flip of a game, like no, I don't think this is a 3-point game, and in a neutral field, it's a coin flip because the Browns are home. They're going to lose eight in a row. You read off the next three, that's fine. They play the Bengals and Ravens. You know who they play after the Bengals and Ravens? They got at the Dolphins, which with that team that was just beat Buffalo. They got at the Buffalo Bills. That's a loss. You might as well write that down. Don't even take the trip. Forfeit the game.
Yep.
And then they got to play Tom Brady and the Buccaneers before Deshaun Watson gets back. And then we're going to talk about Deshaun Watson, him coming back. Oh, they just need to remain float. What's to tell you that Deshaun Watson's going to come back and be Deshaun Watson of what he was 2 years ago? He hasn't played football in a year and a half. And in the 2 preseason games he played, he looked absolutely abysmal. He looked awful. So let's stop lying. The Browns season's over. Start tanking for a draft pick. The season was over after the Atlanta game. The Jets, Atlanta, the Chargers, they blew all 3 of those games. The season's over. It's not close. It's not questionable.
Well, I'll say for my point of view, I always think when the season ain't over until it's over. But from what I've seen for the Browns, I don't like it. I don't like the blown leads. I mean, that you can argue, like they beat they beat 2 very good teams in this league to be 2-0. But then again, you look at the teams that they lost to. All of those teams that they came back from behind, besides the Chargers, and Coach Staley tried to give that game away last week, and the Browns still couldn't win the game. He literally tried to give them every aspect of the game to win that game, and they still couldn't win the game. I mean, the Falcons came from behind and beat you. The Jets, a rookie just ran right across the cornerback's face and got a game touchdown from Ohio State. So I mean, I can't trust this Browns team. Garrett Wilson, I can't trust this Browns team at all. And like I say, I wouldn't be surprised if they don't make it. And I don't think they will. I just don't really think they will make it because, like Gene said, that middle of the schedule is really, 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 really tough. And Deshaun Watson did not look good in the preseason. He could not throw the damn ball straight to the down receivers. He was throwing it on the ground. He was killing the worms on the ground. So like I say, the running game is down, but again, they're folding in the second half of these football games. Go ahead, Gene.
Coach, they needed a 58-yard walk-off field goal from Cade York to beat the Carolina Panthers. Their 2 wins are the Panthers and Mitch Trubisky. I call him Trubisky because he's a dog. And we can talk about Mitch Trubisky all you want. Call him Trubisky because he's a dog of a quarterback. Yeah. But they're 2-3. They've blown 3 games. They need a 58-yard field goal to beat the Carolina Panthers. And who's to say Deshaun Watson's going to be good when he comes back? That team has a better chance of hitting the top 7 draft pick in the draft this year than making the playoffs.
Yep.
Like it is.
Yep. All right, so we're going to shift to NBA on this one. I'm going to start with Gene on this one. How are Green and Jordan Poole going to move forward during this season after the incident at practice?
This is the most overblown incident I've ever seen in my entire life. These fights happen at practice all the time. They happen all the time. The only difference is some idiot from the media or some not from the media from the staff leaked the video so everyone's seen what happened. These fights happen all the time. You remember Michael Jordan? Michael Jordan
On
punched
Steve Kerr in the
used to
face.
he used to punch Longley in the back of the head in practice constantly.
Yep.
These fights happen all the time. Draymond Green is a leader on that team. Jordan Poole, and if you listen to Draymond Green, I love Draymond Green's podcast. I feel like he's
I
hilarious.
love it too. I love it too.
But he has a podcast in which he's talking about how Jordan Poole was last year, and everyone's like, "Yeah, you need to tell him to quiet down, and you need to tell him to chill out." And he's like, "I love it. I love that he gets you riled up. I love." And the quotes that Jordan Poole said were hilarious. What he's saying to Draymond Green, he said, "You're going to be broke in Sacramento, triple single." Like that's why Draymond Green punched him in the face. But at the end of the day, I don't care. These fights happen in practice all the time. It's a new age media. They'll be fine. By game 25, they'll be hugging each other, and there's no issues. There's no issues there. That team's got some of the best camaraderie in the league. They just won the championship. I see no problems there.
AJ.
Yeah, I think there are they're going to be okay. There have been some people that I've seen from like the Chicago area. They talk about a couple years ago when Nikola Mirotic and Bobby Portis had a fight, and Bobby Portis broke Nikola Mirotic's jaw, and how that was the same. But the thing is that that was a losing team. The Bulls were rebuilding. They were in a rebuilding. They didn't have the championship pedigree that this had. They didn't have the coach that the Warriors had. This is a totally different team. Will the issues could they pop up? Maybe, but I don't expect them to. I think Draymond's the type of guy that he's gonna apologize and let it slide. I think Jordan Poole will forgive and forget, or at least forgive, maybe not forget, but at least forgive, and they'll go on and they'll continue to do this. And they'll do their thing. I don't I don't expect this. If this causes friction within that team, then Steve Kerr and Stephen Curry and the GM whose name I'm losing mind of right now, they have done it. It will be put on them because those are the three that should be maintaining this, this core group right now and saying, "Hey, let's put this behind us and let's keep us going." Because the fact that if they let this, eat them inside out would be, gosh, it would just be a shame.
Yep. Break.
Yeah, it's definitely been overblown because of the media. There's been tons of, plenty of practice fights before that we don't think much of. Will it affect them this year? I don't think so. I think that Draymond, like you guys said, he'll move on. I think Poole will move on. And I even if they don't like playing with each other, I think they both understand too that they're probably only playing with each other for one more year. Because I don't think the Warriors are about to fork over a $513 million luxury tax bill next year. So even if they don't like each other, I think at least they'll come to the consensus that, hey, we only have to do this one more year. We'll put up with each other. We'll make sure that we're still winning. We'll stay on the same page. And then we'll see what happens next year. But I don't see it causing any problems for the Warriors' projection or any chemistry this year.
Yep.
Real quick, Dante, before you go, and I know Brett, the one thing that you brought up that is extremely interesting is the fact that they will only have to be doing this for one more year. I think that the bigger issue with Golden State is not the Poole and Green fight. It's the Green contract situation. That's a way bigger issue to me than the fight that happened at AJ, you a Chicago guy, right?
Yeah.
So you remember the Bulls teams in the 90s, one more year. Winning fixes everything. They had one more year.
Yes.
These guys, if they win and they start off strong, figure out a way to keep together next year. But if there's
Yeah,
turmoil and
absolutely.
there's issues on the team, that Draymond contract situation is going to come up a lot more than this fight. Sorry, coach.
Nah, you good, man. I'll let y'all get it out there if y'all have some rebuttals. I'll let y'all get it out there. But like I said again, man, we gotta remember, man, like Gene again just brought up the excellent point, man. You remember those Michael Jordan teams. If you wasn't, they even the players even said it themselves. If you weren't tough, you're not playing for Michael Jordan. Because if you couldn't take his criticism, if you couldn't take the slaps in the face, the hits upside the back of the head, he was gonna run you. He was gonna run you clean off that team. You seen what he did with Kwame Brown, made him cry because he wasn't tough enough. Those are the things that Michael Jordan put pressure on you about, and you seen how it affected the team. They ended up winning 6 championships. I mean, Michael Jordan tested your mental toughness out, and you had to be tough to play for Michael Jordan. And Steve Kerr had to figure that out in a hard way, and he did, and it resulted in the championships. Now, Kevin Durant and Draymond Green had a problem, had a major problem. Draymond Green got on him. The only thing it didn't turn into a punching matchup, but they put that difference aside, ended up winning 2 chips together. Even though Kevin probably would have been 3. Maybe would have been 3 if he went towards Achilles. I believe they would have beat Toronto if they were a healthy team. I believe they beat Toronto in that championship, and they win 3-peat. Same thing with this one. Put their difference to the side. I think they will try to go for another one, but again, like Gene said, that contract situation is interesting. Draymond Green already said he's not taking no less money. He wants the full. He wants the full money that he deserves, and that would be interesting if they start losing. Also, Jordan Poole is up to a contract too. I think he's up in it for a contract. You still got to pay Wiggins, so they still got to figure out where to go with these moves. But I think they will be fine. But if they start out the gate sluggish and slow, I think that's going to come up. But Draymond Green wants his full max. He wants his full money. He's not playing. He already came out and voiced at that. But I just think the only thing this happening because the video went out. The video just went out and it just turned everything to sugar and shit. And made Draymond Green seem like he the worst person. And he's been doing it. Draymond Green has been doing this crap. But he's not doing it because he's a hateful person. This is what he's always do. He's getting into teammates and he's gonna hold you accountable. That's just what he is. That's just what he is. He's just gonna hold you accountable and he wants to win. And I like guys like that on this team. I like guys like that. I just love it. I can't hate him. Go ahead.
No, I'd say you need a guy like Draymond Green on your championship team. You need that guy that's going to hold you accountable. So, absolutely.
Yep. And in an interesting quote, one more thing, what he brought up last year and what made me laugh. They lost to Orlando, right? They lost to Orlando Magic. And he came to the media and he called out the team and say, I respect Orlando, but we can't be losing to no damn teams like the Orlando Magic. I like that attitude about Draymond Green. And like I watched the volume channel. He had Patrick Beverly on that the other day, and they were talking about their growth into the NBA. So I kind of I like that about Draymond Green. So the very next topic, I'm gonna start with my guy Gene on this one. Does LeBron James need to take a step back for Russell Westbrook to thrive?
Hell no. Hell no. Russell Westbrook need to retire. That man stinks. He's not good at basketball anymore. He's pure athleticism. I hope Freddie's listening. I don't care. Yo, Russell Westbrook stinks. They brought in 3 point guards in the offseason. It's not a mistake that they brought all these point guards in. Pat Bev should start for them at point guard. Don't call it like it is. LeBron James needs to take a step back. So Russell Westbrook, no, hell no.
Go ahead, AJ.
Yeah, I'm not gonna go there. I think that LeBron James needs to take a step back, maybe for Anthony Davis, but not for Russell Westbrook. I think someone mentioned it last year. I don't know if it was Barkley or Kenny on the TNT show. Said that maybe Russell should come off the bench and he should, so that with the second unit while AD and Bron are getting their rest, he runs with the second unit, and I like that because I think having them 3 on the court just didn't work out. You got 2 primary ball handlers in Russell and Bron. They don't know how to play without the ball very often. So, LeBron James doesn't need to take a step back for Russell Westbrook. He's still got talent. He's still got talent. I don't know if he's as bad as Gene thinks he is. I think he still play, but there's no way that LeBron James should be taking a step back for Russell Westbrook unless we finally see age creep in on LeBron James and he's not himself anymore.
He's
But I don't
making
think that's going to
$45
happen.
million
LeBron
a
James,
year, AJ. He's making $45 million a year to stink. The reason I said he needs to retire, it's not that he can't be a role player, but you can't pay a role player $45 million. You can't. Russell Westbrook could be a second-team point guard on the Lakers, and that's a great point, AJ. What you just said makes the most sense. Is like let him be the second-team point guard when LeBron's not on the court to run the offense and get you a little instant offense, a little energy if they're losing. But you can't pay someone $45 million a year to be a backup point guard. To be an energy guy? Like, no.
Go ahead, Brett.
That's why they had those trade rumors, in the offseason. He's going to get traded for Kyrie Irving because
the
exactly
trade
what you
rumors
said.
don't work because nobody wants him.
Nobody wanted him. If somebody, he would have been traded already. Nobody wanted him.
Nobody wants for that money. Nobody wants Russell Westbrook for that money.
You have to give a team a first-round draft pick and a young talent for them to take that contract off your hands.
Yep.
I know the Pacers wanted both of the Lakers' next available first rounders if they wanted to give him Russ. 2027 and 2029. But yeah, with does LeBron need to take a step back? No. Quick answer, no. Now, are there ways for Russ to thrive with LeBron and AD? Pretty much. So I read an interesting stat that he shot 44% from the corners last year. So, and he could almost be like a supercharged Bruce Brown, but you can't pay somebody $45 million to be a better version of Bruce Brown.
Bruce Brown played defense. Russell Westbrook can't even play defense.
Well, I was talking about offensively. I
know.
Yeah, I know there's a big difference between their defense as Russ just doesn't play any. But, yeah, no, LeBron does not need to take a step back. I think there are ways for Westbrook to at least do better than last year, which doesn't take much. But either way, they're just saddled with an albatross contract with a point guard who, in order to thrive around LeBron James, you need shooters, and he can't do that. He's struggling to finish around the rim a lot of the time. So, no, either way, they're just stuck with an albatross contract, and I don't think they're going to be able to make it work.
Dead up, Brett. I can shoot better. I can shoot three-pointers. I can shoot three-pointers better than Russell Westbrook. Dead up. Like, I'm not.
I definitely could.
Let's go. Let's go to the court. Me, Russell Westbrook, Ben Simmons. We can have a shoot around. I'll whoop both their asses.
Hey, everybody would get cooked by Andre Drummond 3 of 3 a couple days ago from 3.
He said Russell Westbrook's defense, like, yo, he does play defense. What are those guys? Are they called matadors? The people that have the bulls? They wear the red. They have the red on, and they move. So, like, when the guy runs in the lane, he just matadors him.
Right? Yeah, no.
Olay.
Yeah, it's just a negative that they're going to be stuck with until they're finally able to get out of that contract this offseason at the end of the day.
It's a thing called, have y'all ever heard of a thing called, a swear word called detoy? It's when you actually let somebody run by you and then you try to hit the ball from behind. That's what Russell Westbrook did all last year. He'll let a defender beat him and make it seem like he playing defense and try to poke the ball away to make it seem like he played defense. His perimeter defense was god awful last year. The whole Lakers team perimeter defense, they couldn't keep nobody up out of the paint last year. But I believe Russell Westbrook is solid on another team, not this Lakers team. But again, Frank Vogel asked Russell Westbrook to come off the bench last year. He didn't want to do it. So as a head coach, you still, like I say again, I will still, if you don't come off the bench, you would not be playing. I don't give a damn what type of player you is. You would not be playing if you don't come off the bench. That's what best for that team last year. He needed to come off the bench last year, and this year, I'm not going to get into the LeBron James saga right there at that point right there. That's an obvious answer. You can make a case that championship that they won in the bubble, LeBron took a step back for Anthony Davis, and it worked out. Anthony Davis needs to be involved into the offense more. They won an NBA title because of that. LeBron was still able to do his thing, get his points. They had better shooters too. Contavious Caldwell Pope, Kyle Kuzma, they had better shooters as well. They didn't have shooting last year. This year, they have Toscano Anderson. They have Kendrick Nunn, who was very solid in the preseason. But again, do I still think it will work? Hell no. And LeBron James, it doesn't matter if he's getting up in age. The guy can still get you 30 points a game. The guy had a 50-point game against Golden State last year. He had a 50-point game against Golden State. He was killing it at the end of the season last year, so he still can do it. LeBron still very much got a lot of miles, and he still can do it. He keeps himself in shape. But if Anthony Davis is on the floor, that's the key to the Lakers' success. If he's on the floor, he's got to play a full game. He doesn't even have to play a full 82 games. You can just give me 67 games, at least 60 games of Anthony Davis in a playoff push. And I think the Lakers can make it work. But as far as Russell Westbrook, I don't think LeBron is sacrificing for no damn Russell Westbrook. I just don't think they are. And Russell Westbrook is, just like I say, a big disappointment on this basketball team. And like I say, I just think Anthony Davis is the key for this team winning a championship. So any more rebuttals of this topic that y'all want to go over?
Just one. I think the Lakers are in the. I just think the Lakers are in the worst possible scenario at any team in the entire NBA. I would rather be the GM of the Oklahoma City Thunder situation they had with all those first-round draft picks, the Orlando Magic, the Houston Rockets. I think there's no team that is going to be suck more for the next 10 years than the Los Angeles Lakers. I think it's just they're going to be awful. And I think that no team is in a worse spot than what the Lakers are in right now. They're just terrible GM shit. It's like I was playing NBA 2K and I created a roster and I was like, oh shit, this doesn't work. I'll just delete franchise. You can't do that. Like that's what they did. Trade all the first round draft picks, get all these 90 available talents and hope that they work together. It don't work.
Yep. Because the reason why they're not coming off those first round picks is because they're going to need them for the future. If they give them up, they're not going to have any first round capital. So they know they're going to be bad for the next couple of years if they give up those first round picks. But like I say, when you have LeBron James and Anthony Davis on your team, you're in championship mode. Do you care about those first round picks? If you're trying to win a championship, do you care about them? So they're not trying to come off those first round picks to give up Russell Westbrook. So again, I can see the Lakers being poorly bad the next couple of years. That's why they're actually trying to hold on to those first round picks, and they haven't considered giving them up yet. But again, the next topic, LeBron James. What do you guys think about Bronny James Nike endorsement?
I don't really think there's too much to look into here. They were willing to give him the money, and he took it. Good for him. I mean, I don't really think too much of it. So,
AJ.
Yeah, I don't have a lot to say about this either. With the new NIL deal, he can do this now. So, good for him. He gets his own money and yada 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 yada.
Who the hell cares? I don't care at all. Like Bronny James is rich. Like rich. He's LeBron James' son. I don't care if the NIL gave him money. I don't think they should have gave him money. I don't care. I think this is such a moot topic. Key Norman come up with some great topics. This is not a good one, Key. Love you.
I was going to say there's not too much to say about this one besides, good for you for taking the money.
Well, I wish Freddie was up here so bad. I would love Freddie and Gene on the same show up on this morning at this point. So I would have loved it. So Shaq said LeBron James won't be the GOAT even if he passes Kareem. Gene, you agree with that?
No, I agree with that 100%. Shaq's right. LeBron James will not be the GOAT. I think LeBron James is second, and I have him distant second behind Michael Jordan. And I think Michael Jordan is clearly the GOAT of basketball. I think anybody that's watched basketball in the 90s understands 80s, 90s, completely understands how dominant that man was. He took 2 years off to play baseball and came back and three-peated again. Yo, the NBA was boring because you knew who was winning the NBA. Like, all right, well, the Bulls are going to win again. 6 straight seasons, you walked into the NBA and you knew the Bulls were going to win the finals.
Yep.
Like, come on. It's not, to me, it's, I think LeBron James is great. One of the greatest players ever. I think he's one of the greatest human beings ever. I think what he's done off the court makes him more of a GOAT than what he does on the court. But yeah, I don't think this is close. I think there's a closer comparison to to Kobe and LeBron or Kareem and LeBron than there is to LeBron and Jordan.
Gotcha. AJ.
Yeah, when the Jordan LeBron debate comes up, I usually I do something else because to me there is no debate. It is Michael Jordan. It always has been and it always will be. And I don't think that there's anything else to debate. LeBron's 2, and that's good, and he'll always be 2. He's going to pass Kareem as the all-time leading scorer, and good for him. That's great. He's been great for a long time, but it doesn't mean that he's won. He just isn't, and it always goes from 0 to 60 when it comes to LeBron. Anything LeBron does, is it better than Michael? No. If you watch Michael, I saw something on TikTok. I forget the actor's name, but he was on a podcast with the girl who used to host NBA 2K, Rachel Demita, and Rachel said that LeBron was the GOAT because she wasn't, because she lives in his era and she wasn't in Michael's era, and I found that to be absolutely stupid. I mean, you have YouTube, you have NBA TV. You can sit up and watch Michael in these Michael's games, things like that. This is like when I was growing up, when I didn't have YouTube, I didn't have the NBA. I needed NBA TV, but I knew about Bird and Magic, and I knew about Kareem, and I knew about Bill Walton, and I knew about Moses Malone, and I knew about all those guys. And I didn't watch them, but I knew about them, and I researched them. I went up and tried to find them, read books about them. But this generation should not be saying, "Well, it's LeBron because I wasn't living in Michael's era." No, you got YouTube. Go back, put Michael Jordan in, and look at his highlights. Watch the games. There's a YouTube channel that has all the 82 regular season games of the 95-96 season when the Bulls won 72 games. It's a YouTube channel. It's all the videos. Watch that season. Watch the entire season, guys, and you'll see that it's not even close. So yeah,
nobody wants to. People are too ignorant. People are too ignorant to sit down and watch a old. Listen, the good news is me, you, Dante. I'm not sure how old Brett is. We've all watched both of them play basketball in their primes. So I feel like the answer is pretty clear. But I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
We should be thankful that we get the opportunity to watch, Michael, and we get the opportunity to watch LeBron, that we're going to get the opportunity, hopefully, to continue to watch Giannis and Kevin and Steph Curry, the greatest shooter there ever is. It's going to be incredible. And Jordan's the GOAT.
Brett, go ahead.
Yeah, so I am 26. I never got to watch MJ live. I didn't start watching basketball till 2011. But when I first got into basketball, of course, one of the first things you hear is how great Michael Jordan is. So, go watch his full games on YouTube. I have NBA League Pass. I can watch his old games on there. On top of that, there's this one YouTube channel that I like. It's called Thinking Basketball. And they have these player breakdowns, and he does a breakdown of Jordan. And so, yeah, I didn't get to watch him, but I have done my homework on him. And he is the GOAT. Credit to LeBron for having such a great and dominant career that he even gets brought up in that conversation. So to me, the answer is Jordan 1, LeBron 2. But all the credit in the world to LeBron for being so good for so long that people mention him with Jordan, because not a lot of players ever get compared to the GOAT himself. But I do agree with that one point you made, Gene. I think with the school that he helped start and everything else. I think what he does off the court makes him more of a GOAT than what he can do on the court. So on the court, Jordan. Even off the court, Jordan's been great, but I do have to give LeBron a lot of credit for being even in that conversation.
Jordan isn't great off the court, bro. He's not. He's never been a great human being off the court. He's just a great basketball player.
No,
LeBron James is a way better human being than Michael Jordan ever was. I'm just saying that out loud.
No, absolutely. I almost said that. I was like, oh, I give him some credit. He's made some good business decisions. Like, as a person, he is not
like buying the Hornets. Like, come on.
Hey, that was
I'm kidding.
Yeah, he's made a lot of money off that. So, but yeah, no, MJ.
I mean, MJ was the biggest headache in the locker room, on the court, off the court. He was big as that, but you respected what he did. So I'm gonna give y'all some players. And these are the players that could have had a championship if MJ never existed in those eras. You got Karl Malone, John Stockton, the greatest front court back duo. That's why he stopped them twice. Patrick Ewing. Do we know how good Patrick Ewing was? I believe we know how good Patrick Ewing was. Think about how many times Patrick Ewing ran into him in a playoff scenario. And the only time Patrick Ewing made it to the final, made it past Michael Jordan, was when Michael Jordan, well, guess what he went? Play baseball. He played baseball. And then when Michael Jordan came back, guess what? He had another loss from the NBA Finals. And that's when the Magic finally, when Michael Jordan came back, Magic beat him. The Magic beat him because he was a little bit rusty. And Michael Jordan said, it's a quote, "They would never beat me again." And what happened the very next year? Michael Jordan kicked the shit out of him.
He didn't just beat him, he swept him.
Yeah, he kicked the shit out of him the next time he played him. You go back to Reggie Miller. He doesn't have a championship. Clyde Drexler would have been in now if he didn't get traded to Houston. You can make an argument for my guy, the greatest Rocket of all time, Keem Olajuwon. You can make an argument for that as well. You can make an argument for that. But you look at all the greats. These are great legends. Dominique Wilkins was in that era, but he was in the Bird era and Isaiah era, and Michael Jordan struggled with them. It took an emergent Scottie Pippen to help them out. But again, I mean, this guy, every time the Pistons, man, people want to bring up, if he's so great, why did he fail so many years? You got to realize who he's playing against, man. You're playing against the greatest defenses of all time. Robert the Chief Parrish. You're playing against Kevin McHale. You're playing against Larry Bird. You're playing against Detroit Pistons who prevented. Jordan was so good, he had his own goddamn rule. He was the one player that had his own goddamn rule, the Jordan rule. You know what the Jordan rule? Knock him on his ass every time he came in the paint. Knock him down.
Make him go left. Yep.
And he got stronger and stronger after that. Got his ass back in the weight room. He had to have his own gym that he worked out in. And once Pippen came up, got emerged and got better and better, it was over with. It was really over with, man. I'm telling you. Beat Charles Barkley. Charles Barkley, the reason why Michael Jordan don't got a championship. Charles Barkley, Michael Jordan stopped Charles Barkley from winning the championship, but the Rockets stopped him twice. So that's why he's so mad at my damn Rockets, because the Rockets stopped him actually twice from winning a title. How about those great Cleveland teams that Michael Jordan stuck a fork in? Those great Cleveland teams with Mark Price, Brad Daugherty, and all of those guys. Those were some great Cleveland teams that he knocked out. So Michael Jordan, man, it is hard to win a championship in this league. But at that point of time, the league was born because that's who was winning, taking all the NBA championships right there. And these were legends. This guy stopped consistently from winning a championship. Like I said, I think that is a good accomplishment to me. And again, people want to go back and make excuse, say those teams was old. Well, Isaiah Thomaston was 29 and 28 years old when they beat them. The Lakers was 28, 29. Yes, they did it without Byron Scott, but I still think the Bulls would have beat them. The Utah Jazz was in their prime. They had the best record in the Western Conference. The Seattle Supersonics, they had a great season, a 67-15 season. The only difference was the timing, because guess what? The Bulls was on their 72-10 season. That was the main difference, was the timing that the Seattle Sonics came up. right there. So again, I'm tired of all the excuses about them making about the team was old. Those guys were in their prime when Michael Jordan played them. 28, 29, you're in their prime age. And I respect that, man. Michael Jordan is a fucking GOAT, bro. And I never seen anybody was dominant in that era like he was. And I just gotta respect Michael Jordan. And all like I say again, Kobe probably is the closest thing to me to Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan they have the same similar game, and Kobe learned a lot from Michael Jordan. He learned a lot from Michael Jordan. So like I said again, man, I agree with all y'all. Michael Jordan is still the GOAT. I don't care if LeBron James have more championships than him. I still will value Michael Jordan as a goddamn GOAT. I still will value him as a GOAT in our league today. So the next topic we'll go with.
Really quick.
Go ahead.
I just wanted to mention, you mentioned all of those guys. I can tell when someone doesn't know basketball when they say, "Well, who did Michael Jordan ever play?"
Yep.
If somebody says that, they don't know nothing about basketball. The names you just mentioned, and you probably could have named a couple more as well. Yeah, Alonzo Mourning, I'm doing the second three-peat. Alonzo Mourning with the Miami Heat. He beat them like twice. Come on,
Charlotte was good. Charlotte was good. Well, Charlotte was good. Shit with Larry Johnson and Muggsy Bogues. People don't know. See, that's why I hate when people do that, man. I hate when people say, "Who did Michael Jordan play? Why did it take so long for Michael Jordan to win a championship?" Those teams was way tougher back then. You had no defense in 3 seconds. You can hand check in that league back then. You had none of that. You had to earn everything. You had none of that. And the game was so slow paced, and you had way better defense than you got right now. You had way better defense than you got. It was tough back then, bro. It was tough back then. Then you had some of the greatest defenses of all time that Michael Jordan had to go through, man. So, like I say, man, I hate when people bring that logic or why it took him so long, man. Come on, bro. Michael Jordan walked in the Chicago organization, literally was the best player of that team. Was the best player. He had a broken foot and took the team to the playoffs and dropped 62 on Larry Bird head. And the team ended up still losing, but come on, that team was way more better. That team was way more better than Michael Jordan team was. Come on now. So who's the most exciting rookie to see this season? I'll start with you, Gene, in the NBA.
I got two. I was trying so hard to limit it to one, but the two best players that came out of this draft, and I will argue anybody that wants to argue, the two best players that came out of this draft, Paolo Banchero. I cannot wait to watch him play basketball. And my favorite player to come out of this draft is Jaden Ivey. Jaden Ivey went to the best situation in Detroit, man. I've really loved both their situations. I'm super excited to watch them play. And as a little bit of a sleeper, I don't want to take too many, but Bennett Mathurin is another one that I really loved. I'm excited to watch play this year. But Paolo Banchero and Jaden Ivey.
Go ahead, AJ.
Are these rookies or can these be any players?
Rookie. Again, rookie. It's rookie. Say rookie. You can give me two rookies or one rookie if you want.
I think I'll go one rookie and one other player. I'm with Gene. I want to see Paolo Banchero. I want to see what he does. See what that whole Magic team does. I'm really interested in them, and I want to see what else growth can come from John Morant. I really want to see what else can he become. Can he become the best player in this league? I really want to see that. I want to see him develop a more consistent jump shot. I want to see him just dominate this league. I think he can. This is what Derrick Rose probably should have been before his injury, and I really want to see if he can live up to that.
Yeah. So, Dante, you're a Rockets fan, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. First off, RQ3, you stole mine. I was about to say I really like what I've seen from Tari Eason this preseason.
Yep. I campaigned for that dude in the draft, boy, on the network, bro. Rockets, go get this dude, man. I campaigned for that dude, bro. So bad, bro. I got to get my reaction and put it on Twitter. I got to find that, get my reaction when I put it on Twitter. But go ahead.
Yeah, no, I know preseason's only been 2 or 3 games long at this point, but he's long. He can stroke the 3 ball. He can finish. He's shown he's active on the boards. I know against the Raptors and Spurs, he had a total of 18 rebounds, and a lot of those points came because they were offensive rebounds, just because he was always trying to fight for position and he was in the right spots to get them. So, yeah, say I do like Paulo and Jaden Ivey and all those guys, but I just wanted to throw a different name out there that impressed me. I think Tari Eason of the Rockets, they got a steal at 17, and I think he very well could be not the best player in the draft, but I think he could be one of the most underrated players in this draft.
I love
Well,
that you brought that up. I
yeah,
love that you brought that up.
that dude has been balling, man. That dude averaged a double double, not only in a summer league, but I know it's preseason, but you're still playing against NBA level talent. You're still playing against starters for quite a. This dude been shooting, playing very good defense. He's averaging a 20-point double double in the preseason. Not saying he's going to do it in a regular season, but this guy got hell of a fuel and energy. So when I'm gonna go, as a Rocket fan, I don't never want Texan or Astro fan. I never just kind of want to get my players out there because it make it feel like I'm biased. I'm not going to be biased. I'm not that. I'm never overhyping the team. I never overhyping the players because Jabari Smith Jr. I think he's going to have a very good year, but I think Pablo Banchero is going to be a better scorer. I think his scoring translates in the NBA better than Jabari Smith. I think he's just going to be a natural scorer, and I think he's a better fit for Orlando than Jabari Smith is for Orlando. I think Jabari Smith is made more for the Rockets because it's elite three-point shooting and his elite defense that he's going to have. But I think Pablo Banchero scoring translates to the NBA better because he can create off the dribble. He can also shoot, make his own play. But I'm going to go again. Me and my boy Gene been on the same page. I got Jaden Iverson in fantasy. I got him in fantasy. And I said Jaden Iverson is the most athletic, best point guard in the goddamn draft. Probably you can argue he may be the best player in this draft, man. I like that Pistons backcourt and Cade Cunningham, and Jaden Iverson. Jaden Iverson is the real goddamn deal, bro. If you haven't watched this dude and you haven't watch him play. I prefer to go watch him at Purdue and watch him in the summer league in preseason how he's been playing. He's very athletic. Now he needs to get more consistent and shooting the three ball. But Jaden Ivey was one of my favorite players in the draft, and I always said if you got a talent there in the draft, you take him. I believe Keegan Murray was good for Sacramento. I believe he's going to be fine. But Jaden Ivey was a actually better player. I understand they got Davion Mitchell, but he's a role player from Baylor. Davion Mitchell is a role player from Baylor. Jaden Ivey would have been good in that backcourt with De'Aaron Fox. Who's to not say that the Kings organization would trade Davion Mitchell like they did Tyrese Halliburton? And we also how that worked out. That trade worked out. It didn't work out so well from Sacramento. It didn't work out so well for them. So we also how that worked out and how good Halliburton became in Indiana. But Jaden Ivey was my favorite rookie in the draft, man. He was my favorite rookie in the draft, and I really liked this dude game. So that's my top rookie in the to watching him. Go ahead, Gene.
I want to give one sleeper that no one's talking about. I'm a betting man, so I'm gonna throw $20 on this guy to win Rookie of the Year. The 20th pick in the draft. A lot of people aren't talking about Malachi Branham from Ohio State.
San Antonio.
He's a combo guard that's playing for the Spurs. A fluent scorer. He's 6'5", 200 pounds. This kid could be the next. I think there's a reason that they moved on from DeJounte Murray is because they feel like they can have that in Malachi Branham. And I think that he could be special. I really believe he's going to walk right into a starting role. The Spurs are in a rebuild mode right now anyway. I think he'll walk right into a 17-7-6 season. I think you should really look out for him. He's a fluid scorer from Ohio State. He's super young. He's super raw. And he's got the right coach. So 45-1 odds to win Rookie of the Year. I'm going to throw $20 on it. Maybe I'll win 900. We never know.
Hey, if the Rockets didn't get Eason, I wanted Malachi Branham. Too. He's a fluent scorer, a fluent shooter. He's a smooth shooter too, man. That dude is good. That dude Malachi Branham is really good. So if it wasn't Tyree Eason, it was going to be Malachi Branham that I wanted because I like the way he can create off the dribble. I like the way he can dribble the ball, he can create his own shot. I like players like that can get there, they can get themselves a bucket, and he definitely can go get himself a bucket. So I definitely do like that. So again, we got A sleeper team in the East and West. I'm gonna start with Brett. Go ahead, Brett.
Oh, let's see. A sleeper team in the East? Man, no, that's really it's really tough for me because I do like the Cavs and Hawks this year with the trades they just made. I think that they were perfect for what those respective teams needed. And in the case of the Cavs too, I also think that Evan Mobley's going to develop really well, and that with him and Jared Allen, they can cover up for Donovan Mitchell's defensive lapses and weaknesses. So I think the Cavs can make some noise this year. I know that might be a boring pick because I know they were, they just made the big trade, so people were talking about them. But I do think that they'll make some noise this year. And in the West, in all reality, I think it's the Pelicans.
Oh,
My issue, they have issues. Yeah, they have Herb Jones on defense. They have Valanciunas can protect the rim, but yeah, I'm going to go with the Pelicans and the Cavs.
Look at G reaction. Like, go ahead. Hey, John, I just love G reaction, bro.
no, because Brett, I'll tell you,
Yeah.
Brett took the two teams that I was going to
Yeah.
name here.
Hey, that was a good team.
I think both of them are correct.
Yep.
Zion Williamson looks incredible. It's like someone like got in his head and was just like, "Hey, man, you're blowing an opportunity to be an elite superstar in the NBA by being fat." And he got in shape and he got in the gym and he looks great. And you add that with CJ McCollum, Brandon Ingram, like those boys can score. I love both picks.
I love both of them too, man. I love both of them.
That's both my teams. Exactly. Yep. So when Brett said it, I'm like, oh man, you smell like I have nothing I could bring to the table.
Yep.
Brett, great picks. Great picks.
Yep.
I love
those was elite picks. Right. Go ahead, AJ.
Yeah, I'll go with the Pelicans in the West. I think I agree with that. I think they came out of nowhere after the trade for CJ McCollum last year, and they didn't have Zion, and then they held court with the Suns for a little bit there in the playoffs. I like the Pelicans. I'm gonna go with the Pistons in the East. We just talked about Jaden Ivey, and they have Cade Cunningham there. They also have Kemba Walker there as well. You don't like Kemba Walker?
No, Kemba Walker stinks. I like the other guards on the team.
I think Kemba Walker was a bit of a dog in New York because I think, he's playing for Tom Thibodeau, and Tom Thibodeau can grind on you to play defense. So I think he kind of dogged it. So we'll see what happens when he comes to Detroit and see if he's still that dog or if he's playing a little bit better. But yeah, I like what Detroit did. Getting better with Jaden Ivey and Cade Cunningham, I think could be a potential star in this league as well. I'm thinking that that's a surprise team that if we come by here in June and July and Detroit Pistons are in the playing game or even better, they're like the 5th or 6th seed, I won't be surprised.
I actually agree with that. I think the Pistons finished in the playoffs. I love the Pistons roster, like top to bottom. I think that what they did was great as a whole. And you forget, like they still have a ton of talent. I'm just looking at it right now. You got Jalen Duren, who a lot of people forget about.
Yeah, I was gonna mention him too. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll shut up. I apologize. Go ahead.
No, you good. Go ahead. I like
it. But Sadiq Bey, Marvin Bagley, like they have Killian Hayes, who I thought was a very raw talent that came from France, that I thought was going to be one of the best rookies 3 years ago. He got picked number 6, battled injuries. But Killian Hayes, they have depth throughout that team of people that can pass the basketball, people that can score, and people that play smart basketball. So Detroit is an incredible pick. The reason I was on Cleveland, and I'll stay there, is Karis LeVert, Evan Mobley. You add Spider Mitchell, Darius Garland. Like, you're Jared Allen. You're not putting a better team, like a starting 5 out there that's talented everywhere. I think the Cavs will be a 4 seed, 3 seed. Would that be shocking? I think the Cavs could win the East.
No,
You can't expect anything less when you get Donovan Mitchell. You can't expect anything more or less when you get Donovan Mitchell. You're not competing into a play-in tournament now. You're competing to get in the actual playoff. And I wouldn't be surprised if they get home court advantage. Now, if they get home court advantage, but I'm gonna go with the Atlanta Hawks. I'm gonna go with the Atlanta Hawks. And like you said, I'm gonna take the Detroit Pistons. My original pick was gonna be the Pelicans, but I just want to throw the Pistons, give the Pistons some love. The Atlanta Hawks, I think Jadante Murray is going to be a big addition to this team. A guy that averaged over 8 assists a game, ball game last year, and he give you some of that elite defense. He's long on the defensive side of the ball. He can also take some pressure off Trey Young. Trey Young can play off the ball because he's a very solid shooter. They can split the ball handling duties. You got DeAndre Hunter, who's a 3-and-D player who can shoot the three ball and play some good defense. Now you still got John Collins, Clint Capella. He's got to stay healthy. He's got to better stay healthy. He's gonna be on there for lobs. You got Oyeka Kamwu, who can see some minutes. Who can see some minutes this year as well. So I like this roster for Atlanta, man. I like this roster. No way in the world it should fail. It should be in a play-in tournament this year. No way in the world. And I really like what this roster brings. And you go back to the Detroit Pistons. You talking about nobody's talked about. I'm glad you brought Jalen Duren up. That's the rookie that the Knicks should have drafted instead of trading the pick away. But Jalen Duren is going to give them some good energy, rebounding the basketball. He can also score inside. You also got Stewart too. You got Stewart too, who's a banger on the glass as well, man. So they got a pretty solid front court right there. You got Jaden Ivey and Kay Cunningham, who's proven to be one of the young rising stars in the league last year. Him and Jalen Green was going back and forth last year, but now you bring in Jaden Ivey up in there. Killian Hayes, I'm still got a jury out on him. I think Saban Lee is better than him at this position right now. Killian Hayes just not have cutting it in the NBA right now. I wouldn't be surprised if the Pistons consider trading him in this trading deadline. But also Sadiq Bey out of Villanova, very good scorer, shoot, post up. Very good, man. I like this, man. We got the Pistons are coming on strong, and they got the right head coach in Dwayne Casey too. They got the right head coach to build around, and he's patient with young players. You see what he did that Toronto team. He's very patient with young players. So I really like where the direction the Pistons going in. I think he's going to take Oklahoma City a couple more years to get going, but I like their direction. I like my Rockets direction. We're finally going in. I just think
Jalen Green, bro. Jalen Green, that kid's a stud.
Yep, he's improved his shooting. John Lucas has worked with him on his shooting, and he has come out lighting it up. Kevin Porter Jr., he's going to get better. Jabari Smith is a better fit for the Rockets for the system and what they do. I think he's a better fit for him. But Pablo is going to be the better scorer. I think Pablo is going to be the better overall scorer. But I do like Jabari Smith. I just don't think he's going to turn out to be a superstar star, but he's going to be good on defense as far as the Rockets shooting and defense. Now, Pablo's going to be better at scoring. His scoring is going to translate because that's what he does. But again,
I think Jabari's a bust, bro. I really do. I think Jabari's a bust.
We'll see when it come out. I don't think he's going to be a bust. I just think he's not going to be a stud. I think he's going to be a 3-and-D player. But Pablo's going to be better. He's going to be the better player. Going to be the better scorer. So we're going to your 76ers. We're going to go to your 76ers. Hey, you want to go last or you want to go first on this one?
Whatever you want, man. I
want to hear you first. I want to hear your reaction first, man, because we got a couple more minutes before we end the show. So James Harden has not been given props, credit for his unselfishness in the off season. What do you say about that?
It's laughable. It's a laughable question. The answer is no. So what? He took less money than he could have taken on a really bad team. You talking about a guy that played in Houston, that forced his way out of Houston, went to Brooklyn, didn't like the way things were going in Brooklyn, faked an injury, forced his way out of Brooklyn. And he comes to Philadelphia out of shape, hamstring issues, didn't play well in the playoffs, isn't James Harden that you're paying for, and he took less money with the option to come back and play with the Sixers. That's horseshit, man. Nobody is investing their future into James Harden. James Harden is a depreciating asset. Like, let's make it very clear. If you ask me who I'd like to have for the next 2 years, not 5, because 5 is too easy. I would take Tyrese Maxey over James Harden for the next 2 years. He's a better player. You want to talk about selflessness? It's not selflessness. He's playing for the GM that he wants in the system that's best suited for him and that allows him to be a third option offensively.
Preach, man. Preach, man.
It's
Come on,
not
preach.
selflessness. It's him being in the best situation for him, and then using that. Like I hate when people do that, right? Like, I'll give you a ride to the airport for $20. Uh, oh man, what a nice guy. You gave him a ride to the airport. No, he needs to put $20 in his gas tank. Let's stop lying and acting like James Harden is selfless for doing something to get paid 40 or $35 million. Come on, man. He's not a $35 million player anymore. Anybody that watches him with their two eyes wide open knows that. So no, he's given exactly the credit he deserves. He needs to be a better player this year and a third option on a championship contending team.
Go ahead, AJ.
Yeah, I think it's funny to put selflessness and James Harden in the same sentence. That just doesn't work. It just doesn't work. James Harden, for years, has just epitomized the word ball hog, and it is just insane that people are still thinking that he is something. People talking about him being an MVP candidate. No, he's not going to be MVP candidate. He's not even going to be the best player on his team. That's going to be Embiid. So how is he going to be MVP candidate? Come on now. This is James Harden. This should be his last big contract. It should be his last big contract because he has shown that he is starting to regress in each and every part of his game. The shooting, the dribbling is I don't know. I don't know if he's ever been a basketball IQ guy. I don't know if he's ever been that. But
Whoa,
even
slow down. One of the best basketball IQs you'll ever watch.
James
One
Harden?
of the best basketball IQs you'll ever watch. James Harden is one of the best basketball IQs you'll ever watch. Slow down with that. I'll hate on James Harden. I'm telling you right now, watch the tape. James Harden's basketball IQ is absurd. It's very, very good. It's the reason that he was an MVP candidate on the Rockets when he was by himself because he basically created an offense, that screen roll with the alley-oop to Clint Capella. It was the same thing every time. I'm sorry, but you can't question it. Shooting, question his dribbling, question his speed, question his shape. Don't question his passing. Don't question his IQ. Both of those are next level.
I just have to disagree because I think his basketball IQ has dipped since he's been with the Rockets. It doesn't necessarily mean that he's still not smart enough to know the game or anything like that. But it's just maybe like a thing where he just says his brain is going faster, but his body can't do what his brain is thinking. You know what I mean? I think that's what I mean by his basketball IQ. And so James Harden. He'll be a fine player for the Sixers, but I would very much doubt that he's going to make any major impact that people are thinking like being an MVP. I doubt that.
I was gonna say, yeah, with James Harden, he's only getting older. He's depreciating asset, like Gene said. One thing I always questioned about James Harden was never his like IQ or passing, but it was more so his effort. And I think that's only going to get worse as he gets older. I think we've all seen that clip when he's in Brooklyn against Detroit and the ball's just rolling right next to him. And instead of, even jogging over to grab it, he just watches it as it just leads to an easy dunk. So I don't think he's going to be a $35 million player this year. I think, like AJ said, he'll be fine. He did still go for 23-10 last year, but yeah, I don't think he doesn't get enough credit for taking the pay cut or anything. In fact, I don't think he'll be worth the money they're even paying him now.
I think one thing Gene mentioned earlier about James Harden's passing, his passing, I would agree, is just next level. I did not expect him to become such a good passer from his time in Oklahoma never expected him to become that such of a good passer. So good on him for doing that. And I think he still is a very damn good passer. Very damn good. He should still average 10 assists, I think, this year.
Yeah.
I'll say he'll
One
probably
thing.
still average. Sorry.
Go ahead. Go ahead, Brett. Get it off.
Oh yeah, I just wanted to add. I still think he'll average close to that 20 and 10 that he averaged last year. But yeah, go ahead, Dante.
One thing for my time in Houston, for his time, I'm not going to question. I can question his heart and his effort. I can question that and his willingness to give up and when things get tough. He crumbles. He's going to crumble. He's going to fall asleep. But I'm not going to question his game. I'm not going to question his IQ. He had an 11 assist season. I mean, you don't get 11 assists if it's not for very great IQ. You don't get 11 assists. I mean, he's damn near averaged a triple double, and he prevented a new offense with Mike D'Antoni gave him the keys to the point guard. So he showed some stability. He has some good IQ, but now we gonna question his efforts, his selfishness, his times that he come late to practices, his time that he would be out on the clubs and stuff while the team is already on the road trip, and him showing up late, getting a goddamn private jet, and him being late to practices, the film study. We can question that. Yes, he's a dick off the court and on the court as well. When he doesn't get his way, he just gonna complain to the GM, not to the media, but he will complain to go behind your back and complain to the GM. We're gonna question that. He's a little bit of a diva too, because he's the reason why Chris Paul left Houston. It was either him or Chris Paul, and Chris Paul was was one of the reasons. He was the heart and soul of the team. Yes, James Harden was the best player, but to me, Chris Paul was the heart and soul of Houston. We don't get to the Western Conference Final and get that close to beating the Warriors without Chris Paul. And the very next year, him and Chris Paul stayed hurt. James Harden carried the team. James Harden carried the team to the playoffs, and we lost to Golden State. Other than that, but in the time in Brooklyn, James Harden wanted to leave Houston because he wanted Tyronn Lue. The Rockets said no, we're not getting Tyronn Lue because I believe Tyronn Lue was going to sign with the Clippers anyway. He was going to stay with them anyway. And he ends up Raphael Stone them saying no, and bam, James Harden wanted out. So he won his initial reaction. I want to go to Philadelphia. Raphael Stone didn't want to trade James Harden to Philadelphia. That was the reason why he didn't get to Philadelphia right away. So he said, okay, I'll go to Brooklyn. He went to Brooklyn. He quit on the team. He didn't die for loose balls. Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving was out. Kyrie Irving, he had an issue with Kyrie Irving about, hey, Kyrie Irving not playing. He's not playing any ball games. Then Kevin Durant gets hurt. Now I got to be the man. I got to all of a sudden be the man again like I was in Houston. I don't believe James Harden wanted to do that. Now he goes to Philadelphia. He takes a big old shit at the end of the season and in the playoffs against Jimmy Butler. That's the type of player James Harden will be. He'll be he still will average 22. Still will get us probably a 9 assists. But the playoffs and when things get tough, James Harden is going to fall asleep. That's just the type of player he is. He's still going to be able to play. But James Harden is a selfish player, man. This dude is a really selfish player, and you cannot argue. But what I've seen in Houston and all the excuses this guy makes, oh, we lose, I want this. I think we should go back and get this. Now he has no excuses at this point in time. And that's a lot of pressure on James Harden to win a championship. He forced his way out of 2 cities. Now he's got to try to deliver in the 76ers. But I'm going to pose one more question before we get up out of here because we ran out of time. Gene, do you believe, what do you think about this Sixers team going into this year? What do you believe in your head? Do you think they have an opportunity to get to an Eastern Conference Finals? What do you believe in this Sixers team you're a resident Sixers fan? I want to hear everybody thinks.
100% I believe in the Sixers team, and I'm going to tell you why. Tyrese Maxey is going to be the number 2 scorer on that team. I don't think James Harden averages 20. I'll take a bet with anybody that wants it. I don't think James Harden averages 20 a game. I think the offense is going to revolve around James Harden passing the ball and being your floor general, and Embiid being your primary scorer, and Tyrese Maxey taking another jump. Tyrese Maxey has the ability to be an all-star player this year. So I think the 76ers will be a contender. I think they will have a very good opportunity to come out of the East. I think it'll be them, Boston, and Brooklyn. But, yeah, I think Tyrese Maxey is going to take that next jump. And I think you're going to love what you see out of that kid. That kid is special.
All right, AJ. What do you? How?
I think the Sixers.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I think the Sixers are going to be one of the top three teams in the East. I think they're going to definitely have a chance to win uh, to win the Eastern Conference. I'm predicting that Embiid finally gets his MVP, and I think it's going to be a great watch for the Sixers. I think they're gonna deal with the Milwaukee Bucks. I think as long as they have Giannis Antetokounmpo, they are still always going to be a top favorite. And I think I want to believe in the Celtics, but with everything that's going on, I just don't know. Um, Brooklyn, again with them, whatever going on with them, I don't know either. But I think those are the only teams that are going to be in the way of the Sixers. And so, if you told me Sixers win the East, hey, I would not bet an eye at that. I think there's a damn good chance that they're in the Eastern Conference Finals come May.
Brett.
Yeah, I think they have just as good of a chance as anybody, really. I like them signing Daniel House and PJ Tucker, two 3-and-D guys that put around Harden and Maxey. So as long as they're hitting their threes and playing that hard defense we know they're capable of, I think that they could be very good secondary pieces. To Tobias will be interesting to watch this year. But yeah, no, I think they're right up there with Milwaukee, Boston, Brooklyn. I think could be a team to beat as long as the chemistry is there, which I don't necessarily know if it will be. So I think they're more of a wild card. But yeah, no, I could absolutely see the 76ers coming out of the Eastern Conference this year.
The 76ers are so deep this year, Brett. What they added Montrezl Harrell, they added DeAnthony Melton, they added PJ Tucker, they had to a team that was competing for the Eastern Conference Finals last year. The depth on that team is unreal. I think the 76ers come out of the
Oh,
East this year. I really believe it.
oh,
That D'Anthony Melton
yeah, no,
pick, I love it. That D'Anthony Melton trade, I love it. That 3-and-D player that can also give you some shooting. I mean, Gene got the Philadelphia Rockets over there. He combined in the Philadelphia Rockets 2017 over there. I see y'all. But yeah, man, it's been a great show, man. Shout out to everybody for coming through, man. Shout out to AJ, Brett always here. Finally get up here with my boy Gene after we hiding in the group chat discussion about college. Love that guy Gene, man. Gene got me going today. Shout out to everybody that came in the chat. We're gonna end it right here, Gene. Tell the people they can follow you at, family.
Yo, Wire Sports Podcast tonight, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Facebook, YouTube. You can download us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio. We go live tonight, man. We got a great show for y'all. A lot of football, but the NBA preview show also.
Yes,
so,
sir.
Tonight. I appreciate y'all.
Yes, sir. Tuesday night, NBA Open tonight. Next Tuesday night, NBA Open tonight will be available. And it starts with Gene Sixers and the Lakers and the Warriors. So, AJ, tell the people they can follow you, man.
Yes, you can find me on YouTube. It's AJ Trip, same as my name. And I have a sports podcast, The Game According to Me. You can find that on wherever you get your podcast. It should be there. Just search The Game According to Me. And if you like other things non-sports related, I have The World According to Me, where I talk. It's another podcast I do. I don't talk sports, but I talk about other things going on in the world, dating, all that other stuff. So I've got a couple places you can find me.
Brett.
Yeah, you can. Right now, for me, I have a podcast, Guardy 3. It's just my last name, except instead of PEE, it's a 3. You can find that on Spotify or Anchor, and I take criticism or suggestions about future topics. You can catch me on Twitter at Brett Gardapi, and Guardy 3 has its own Facebook page as well.
Yeah, man. So y'all know where y'all can follow me at. Y'all can follow me right here. Y'all can follow me at Coach Dante on YouTube, Coach Dante Spotlight Sports Network, Coach Dante Sports Empire, Coach Dante ECG, East Coast Gridiron. And like I say, y'all can find me everywhere, man. So shout out to myself, Coach Dante, my boy Gene, my boy AJ, my boy Brett. Y'all have a wonderful, blessed day, man. And y'all sub up to the Wire to Wire podcast and all these gentlemen. Wire to Wire podcast will be on tonight, man. Y'all sub up to that channel. Can't wait to see it tonight. So we up out of here, folks, man.
What's going on, everybody? Proud to announce the Spotlight Sports Network are partnered with SeatGeek. Save $20 off your first order for live events, concerts, and sporting events, and more. All you have to do is just insert the promo code Spotlight Sports Network to save today. Again, that's Spotlight Sports Network and save $20.